Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the 59th episode of the Triboro Podcast. The New York Yankees are headed to the World Series!
Congratulations.
This is the first time when I actually understand what baseball is that the Yankees are going to the World Series. I was 6 years old when they won the World Series last time. So that doesn't count. I couldn't have named more than 3 players on that team, and that may even be generous.
Derek Jeter.
Derek Jeter. Did I say Derek Jeter? Oh my god. Dude,
What an ending. What a past 3 games.
I'm just happy that today I could sit on my ass, watch football all day with no stress, and you can't say the same.
I can't. I got, at this moment in time, I have 9 hours to prepare.
I need it. If this went back to Yankee Stadium, I would have, just for like a rest standpoint for the fans and the players. Like we need heart medication after that shit. We all got to go to like the doctor. We got to get like scripts, whole 9 yards.
Exactly.
And I just wanted to quote you. You said the Yankees had boring postseason games.
Yes, up until these past 3 games, they have.
I'm just.
I stand by that.
And I stand
The
by.
Royals Yankees series was a dud.
You're saying Game 1 was a dud.
Yes, with the most lead changes in postseason history. Yes, boring.
You're just a hater then.
Maybe.
You're just a hater.
But just the context behind it too. It was the weakest series. From a gameplay standpoint and the context standpoint. Boring.
That's fair, but still, to say that was a whatever. Whatever.
Boring.
But, of course, your injury update brought to you by the Triboro MD. You got 2 things. It appears Nestor's going to be on the World Series roster. Honestly, if they do that, do you just take Stroman off?
At this point, yeah.
He
didn't. Let me ask you this. Unless you're going to talk about it later.
I'll talk about it later, but he did not pitch.
Did he stand up?
No.
Then yeah.
I'll get more into it later because I have like a whole thing like mapped out. But
then what's the point?
Then the other one is Ian Hamilton was taken off the roster with a calf injury. Mark Leiter Jr. replaced him. That's another guy that just gigantic sack. He let up 1 run, and I think you can make a strong argument that run's not on him.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about it, is that the play that he threw the ball to Rizzo? Is that on him or Rizzo? Just the throw,
yes.
not when he initially bobbled it.
It's tough because it was a bad throw, but at the same time, Rizzo kind of tried to go for it weirdly.
I feel like as a first baseman, you have to make that play.
I guess. I mean, it's so weird because the runner is right there, and then it's almost right between his legs. It's in that weird dead zone. You know what I mean. But at the same time, it's hard to fault Leiter because he's trying to make a play. Running and trying to sidearm it.
Cross body.
I think the other thing too is if Leiter underhands it, he might have a better shot. But that's the only thing I have really against Leiter on that play.
My thing with Rizzo is he is a Platinum Glove winner. The whole reason is he was starting because of his defense. Now the hitting, I'll get into that, trust me, because he's been more than you could ask for hitting. But the whole reason was because of the defense. And he just made error after error after error. Like the Jose Ramirez double that's not going to go down to the box score as an error, that was pretty bad. Where he just did not get the ball when he just should have. Anyone gets that ball. But anyways, going on to Game 1, the Yankees won 5-2. Only really note I have is Carlos Rodon went 6 innings, 1 earned run. You saw a lot more calmness to him, which I think was just awesome. Because before the game, he had a sit-down conversation with Andy Pettitte, and I don't know. I think I had mentioned this on the radio. Andy Pettitte is the most winning pitcher in postseason history. So that's a good guy to talk to, especially like the lefty. He's known for being like that calm, has that southern draw. He also had a film session with Garrett Cole, so I think a combination of those things just helped. He also pitched in Game 5, we'll get into that, but I think he pitched a lot better than his line showed. Then moving on to Game 2, 6-3 win. Cole was not good. Like, if this was like Clark or Heel, you take it, but not from Cole. He went 6 1/3 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts. He didn't have command. Like, that was just the thing. The 4 walks was, like, I'm at the point where I don't really care about strikeouts with Cole at this point. Because I feel like there's a lot of games where he'll have like 2 or 3 strikeouts, but he'll go 7 innings, 1 run.
Yeah, exactly. Who cares?
So, I really don't.
He just want outs.
Yeah, he's not that. He's changing as a pitcher. And you saw it in the fact of he threw 12 sinkers all year in the regular season. He threw 0 against the Royals. He threw 12 against Cleveland.
Yeah.
So he's just, overall as a pitcher, he's just adapting, and that's just the type of guy he is. That's part of the reason why I like the contract long term for the Yankees, because he's a guy that adapts. He loves analytics, loves all that type of stuff. Yeah.
A true pitcher.
What was I going to say? I don't know. Would you scrap the sinker for now?
I won't say scrap it. I mean, it worked.
Or would you throw it 12 times?
I think that's like a good... Like, it's one of those pitches where you have in your back pocket that you can kind of break out whenever. So I think, like, you know, maybe not 12 times a game, but, like, if you throw it 4 or 6 times
I was thinking like 7 times.
If at all. Yeah, that's perfect. I mean, again, he has the stuff that where he doesn't need the sinker, but, you know, call it third time through the order, even second time through the order to give hitters a different look. I think that's perfect. That's a perfect way to use it.
And he also, if he adds that sinker, he has 5 pitches. So that's just, and a guy that is known for having great control and being able to just pinpoint, that's just going to make him, for the future, that, I don't want to say I want to write this year off for Cole, but it was such a funky year.
You can kind of give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah. But regardless, I would probably say don't throw that sinker too much, kind of just refine it in the offseason. Oh, I completely forgot about the cutter. 6 pitches. But, yeah, they won that game. Game 3. Oh, my God. This was a crazy game. It was a 7-5 loss. Clark went 4 2/3 innings, 2 runs. I didn't watch most of him pitching because I was in the car. It was so funny on the drive back because John Sterling, I probably listened to 4 innings. He must have called them the Indians at least 20 times. It was the funny, and just like a third of the time he'd be like, Guardians. And then literally 30 seconds later we're calling them the Indians. But it's just so...
It's hardwired. Not to self-destruct, though.
I was going to say to self-destruct, but that was just... I thought that was hilarious, but getting back into the game... Weaver gave up a 2-run home run to pinch hit to, Jowensky, I think. Noel,
yeah.
big Crimmy.
Big Christmas.
Big Crimmy. That's all you got to say. Yeah.
What a pimp job too. Sorry.
Oh my God, no, that was incredible. That was incredible.
That's electric. I love that.
It's just I'll get into why I think that happened. Why he gave up the home run. Clay Holmes, 2-run home run to David Fry in the 10th inning for a walk-off.
Another fantastic pimp job.
Dude,
I'm sorry.
No, they were both awesome pimp jobs.
Yeah.
Like, and I could say that because we won the series.
Yeah, exactly.
If we didn't, I'd be pissed at you. But
yeah, it's a completely different story.
Well, I'll get into why, but I think there was a lot of different reasons why those home runs were given up. Both of the pitches were hangers. But I don't even think that was... Obviously, yeah, that was the reason why they're hit for home runs. But I think there's kind of a deeper reason why overall. But
Okay.
moving on to Game 4, it was an 8-6 win. Heel went 4 innings, 2 runs. He looks so choppy those first 3 innings, but that 4th inning he looked dominant. Like I
Yeah.
was almost, I wouldn't have done it, but I wouldn't have been surprised if they let him out batter to batter for the 5th
Yeah.
there. But
I mean, he hasn't pitched in what, like, how many?
19 days. Gavin Williams was 29 or 26 days.
Yeah, so it's kind of one of those things where he was already at like 85, I want to say, or like
I think he was a little
mid,
lower.
like low to mid 80s in pitch count. So it's kind of like if you haven't pitched in a while, you don't want to push it. I see it, and plus, besides the 4th inning, he's a little scary.
Yeah.
I don't mind taking him out there.
Yeah, it wasn't the worst. I think top of the order was coming up.
Right.
I'm trying to see his box score just to see how many pitches he was at, because I'm really curious how many pitches he was at, because I don't think it was like 80. I think it was a little bit lower.
Oh, it was. Oh.
You can see that on Savant, right?
Yeah.
Why am I being stupid? Oh wait, no, it'd be in
Happens a lot.
game log most likely. All right, I can't find it. You find that.
Okay.
But wait, did I? No, I didn't.
79.
79.
79. So.
Yeah, and he had like a 6. He had an under 10 pitch inning in the 4th inning.
Right. Yeah.
But regardless, I mean, what more could you ask for? Honestly,
Yeah.
you don't pitch a guy for 19 days, which is another issue entirely. Where, like I said in the group chat, I'm gonna be so pissed off at the Yankees if Heel gets lit up. I think he definitely was the Game 4 starter. That was definitely the right call. But because of the fact that he hasn't pitched in so long, that if he gets lit up, what the fuck are you expecting?
Yeah.
Like that, I don't know what you could be expecting.
Yeah. Yeah. Thankfully, it worked out, but
Yeah.
it had the makings of a really bad start.
Yeah. And speaking of really bad starts, moving on to Game 4 in a tied game, 9th inning versus Emmanuel Clase. Anthony Rizzo single. That was right after he made the error too. So Anthony Rizzo single, John Birdie ran for him, Volpe single, also a strikeout, fucking shocker. Doogie reached on a fielding error, Birdie scores, Glaber single. Yeah, Glaber RBI single, Volpe scores. Just, that's not even talking about Game 3, what they did to Emmanuel Clase. The 8th inning, it was a 3-1 ball game. Aaron Judge, 1-2 count, just off the bat. Did you think that ball was gone?
No.
No, I did not.
Maybe like off the top of the wall, but
I thought it was like a double in like the right field corner.
yeah,
But
it just did not drop.
it did not. And then
That was a line drive if I've ever seen one.
very next batter, Giancarlo Stanton. Whoo! Dead center off Emmanuel Clase. Just Clase looked bad.
Yeah, I've been saying it, but between all of the closers,
I've seen you everywhere on Twitter saying this.
In postseason, a reliever is never going to get a big contract ever again.
Yeah.
Ever. Devin Williams,
you can't say
Emmanuel
that to Luke
Clase,
Weaver.
Josh Hader, Diaz. He has not been great. A reliever, a top end reliever, is never going to see a big contract ever again.
Yeah. It just kind of exemplifies how good Mariano Rivera was too. When you really think about it,
of course, it's on another level.
I was talking to my dad about this. I'm not saying he'd be a bum, but Mariano Rivera had, I believe, a 2.4 career ERA. I think that ERA would probably be a lot closer to 3 if they had the tragic pitching machine back then.
Oh yeah.
Just because there was something
Seems kinda
interesting,
like
I saw that how that machine is it's good for like a bunch of pitchers because you see all their different pitches, but it's awesome at is for the outlier pitchers, which take Emmanuel Clase throwing 101 mile an hour cutters. You don't see that every day. That's part of the reason why it's so hard to hit. But if you face that over and over and over in batting practice, then it's going to be easier to hit. And Mariano Rivera, not exaggerating, threw a cutter 94% of the time.
Right.
So that's not me shitting on Mo, but I think part of that is because the pitching machine.
Yeah.
Just because it's easier to like get more practice against those guys. Yeah.
Yeah. Your luck doesn't need to be in the 9th inning of a tight game.
Yeah. In the postseason where it's literally just
right. Especially for the National League players, if you really think about it, and all the World Series he's pitched in. Like, how many times has a guy seen him before that moment?
Yeah. I get what you mean. But they ended up winning that. Tommy Kahnle ended up closing the game out.
With like 16 changeups.
I'll get into that. I will get into that.
Excuse me.
That's nothing, though. 16 is nothing. That's rookie numbers. But Game 5 was a 5-2 win. Carlos Rodon, 4 2/3 innings, 2 earned runs. I think he pitched a lot better than his line showed. Because you look at that first run that scored, a 40-mile-an-hour kind of like hit from Josh Naylor that he ran out. I'm sorry, why is Josh Naylor running out fucking infield singles?
He's round.
He rolled down first base.
Yeah, he's very round.
Bo ended up driving him in on like a really nice hit. It was like a 10-pitch at bat. So I think he did pitch a lot better than his line showed. It just sucks that he only went 4 2/3. But what is your? Let's backtrack a little bit. So the first inning, Gleyber Torres leads it off with a single. Juan Soto doubles. They send Luis Rojas sends Gleyber Torres. The Guardians have a perfect relay. What is your opinion on that whole thing? Like, should they have sent him? Was it a good defensive play? What?
I don't mind sending him. I think, obviously, first inning, it's early. The Yankees don't need to play conservative, or they don't need to play safe, obviously, with the series lead. I don't mind the send. It was going to take a perfect relay, which is exactly what the Guardians did. So I don't mind it whatsoever. The one thing I will say is I'm not sure if it's maybe just because I haven't watched him the entire year, but Gleyber looked really slow.
Oh, no, he's slow. He's slow.
Okay. So that's like my only thing. Gleyber's just slow. But again, I don't mind the send. Because, again, it's the first inning. It's early. You don't need to win this game. Obviously, it would help. You want the rest. When you have a team down, you want to just beat them right then and there. But, again, I don't mind being aggressive and sending him there.
I may disagree on the... Obviously, not must win, but just because if you go back to New York and Garrett Cole would pitch Game 6, he wouldn't line up for Game 1 of the World Series.
Fair.
So, they're also with how just shot the bullpen was.
Yeah. That's fair.
Obviously, it wasn't a must-win, but...
I get where you're coming from.
I don't know how I feel about it, because I go back and forth, because that was the... I'm not sure if you saw the stat. That was the second hardest throw of Andre Jimenez's career. So, he just had a laser, perfect throw, perfect play.
Yeah.
But it's just something about it being the first inning. A pitcher that you hit really well on the ropes. I would have just much rathered second and third, no outs for Judge and Stan back-to-back.
That's fair.
That's just my thing, where it's like, you know Glaber's not the fastest guy in the world. You got Judge and Stan back-to-back coming up. I would have held them up because... I don't know. I just think that it's a lot safer. Like, they didn't have to be safe, but just...
Yeah. I think that's my biggest thing is you didn't need to play conservative. So it's kind of like... Not that I won't hurt you, but it's kind of like, all right, it took a perfect relay. They got the perfect relay. It is what it is. You still had a runner on second with one out.
Yeah.
You know?
What was I going to say? I just also wanted to say that people were getting pissed at Gleyber for getting thrown out. Motherfucker, he got sent.
Right, yeah.
Like, it's not his fault that he's slow. You know what I mean? Like, that's on... Like, if you're going to be mad at someone for him getting thrown out, be mad at Luis Rojas.
Yeah.
And just because there was something that... I've seen people, when Glaber, like, blows through the stop sign, he ends up being safe. People are like, oh, he should get benched for that. This is throughout the year. This wasn't during the postseason.
Yeah.
But then, Glaber listens to the stop sign, gets thrown out, and people are getting pissed off at Glaber.
Right.
So, which is it? Are you mad at the... You're going to be mad at Glaber when he doesn't listen and he's safe, but he does listen and he gets out because it wasn't the best... It was a solid send, but... I don't know. That just... We are
I think people just don't like Glaber.
I don't get why, but...
Would have thought.
No, but still, going back to the pitching, would you believe that Mark Leiter to Tim Hill to Jake Cousins to Luke Weaver would give you 5 1/3 scoreless innings?
Nope. What a combination of names.
Dude, that's just... Leiter to Hill to Cousins for 4 1/3 innings.
Yeah.
And Jake Cousins
combo of games.
threw an inning in the third. So he got 4 outs, got 4 strikeouts. He looked
good. He looked good.
He looked great, honestly. But then, the reason that we are recording today, in the top of the 10th inning, Juan Soto comes up to the plate. In a 7-pitch at-bat, he is doing his head nodding. He's doing his like... all that.
Okay.
It's a 1-2 count with 2 outs, top of the 10th. He fouls off 4 straight pitches. He had only gotten off speed the entire at-bat. Hunter Gaddis dots a high fastball. Gone. Just gone.
One at bat. One at bat. That's another extra $100 million for that bat alone.
Okay. Take it.
I'm not. Yeah, no.
Give it.
Definitely.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But just, it's one of those things of what can you say?
Yeah.
I talked all year about how the reason you got him is because he is a riser in the playoffs. Say what you want about the regular season, incredible player in the regular season. Awesome. Top 5 offensive player. You can make an argument top 3 in the regular season. But when it comes to the playoffs, he's insane. Honestly. And that's that for the series. Getting into kind of some of the individual players. So, Giancarlo Stanton, he won the ALCS MVP. Shocker. He had 4 home runs, 7 RBIs. And it wasn't like they were just garbage home runs. There was only one that you can make an argument that was. Where it was and even then, it was a 4-1 game, and I think the 8th inning, and he hit a home run to make it a 5-1 game.
Right.
Everything else was, the second home run was off Class A in Game 3 to make it a 4-3 game in the 8th inning. Third home run made it a 6-2 game, which it was a 3-run home run. Which, guess what? They needed every single one of those goddamn runs. Then the 4th home run made it a tied game in the 6th inning.
I don't understand why Stanton saw a strike.
He did it.
In that at-bat.
Well, no, because he...
No, I understand. He was fouling things off, and he got the hanging slider. What do you mean no?
You look at the pitches, everything was out of the zone.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Except for the hanging slider.
Yes, that's exactly what I just said. I'm saying he should have never seen a strike.
I'm just saying that's what the Guardians' plan was.
Yes, and then he threw him a hanging slider. Just walk him. Walk him. Jazz is right behind him. I don't understand. From the Guardians' perspective. Why Stan saw a strike that entire series?
And
well, not entire series, but like games 4 and 5. He should have never seen a strike.
You can make an argument that third home run, there was a base open with 2 outs.
Right.
He also should have been walked there. But
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously good for the Yankees, but I just from the Guardians' perspective, mind-boggling.
Yeah. I'm not really going to get pissed at the Guardians, though, for maybe the reliever, but I'm not going to get pissed at the Guardians for throwing him a hanging slider.
Well, yeah, obviously.
You know what I mean?
I'm
Because
not.
they were...
No, I'm talking in general. He should have never seen a strike
Yeah.
because every time he hit the ball, it was going 500 feet.
Yeah. And according to Bob Costas, he has polio, so he's not going to run on the base paths.
No, he's being euthanized tonight.
But I think this is where I said I had my hot take.
Okay.
He had about a 1200 OPS.
Yes.
I don't think he should have won the ALCS MVP.
Really?
I think Juan Soto deserved it.
Really?
This is not recency bias. It's not. Giancarlo Stanton had 4 hits. All 4 of them were home runs. Juan Soto went 7 for 19 with 3 home runs, a double, 4 walks, a 368 batting average, 478 on base, 895 slugging for a 1373 OPS. His OPS was 150 points higher.
I just think Stan had the more monumental hits.
I mean, you could make the same argument for Soto, where maybe Stan had a few, more, but all of Soto's hits came in, situations that were, I don't want to say, dire, but you look at, he gave them the lead, and I think it was game 1. You can make an argument if Glaber wasn't a fat fuck, he gives them the lead in game 5. He obviously gave them the lead in this game. He had a very clutch walk against Clase that ended up getting judged the bat in his hands, all that. Which I have no issue with Stan getting the ALCS MVP, but I think there's a lot stronger of an argument for Juan Soto to get it than people kind of realized.
That's fair, but I feel like if Stanton's not in this lineup, it's a different series.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, a guy that had 4 home runs.
Yeah, exactly.
You could say the same thing about Soto, though. You take Soto out of this lineup and it's a different series.
You still have Stan.
Okay, then you could say the same thing that if you don't have Stan, you still have Soto.
Yes, but Soto didn't hit 4 home runs that half of them gave them the lead or padded the lead.
All 3 of his home runs were clutch. Soto. I'm pretty sure every single one of his home runs gave the Yankees the lead.
I feel like every time I saw Stan up, he was giving them the lead or giving them extra breathing room or tying the game. I don't see an argument. It stands like.
I'm just saying. I think there was a lot stronger of an argument than people realized. That's more where I'm coming from. But
I'll agree to disagree.
Whatever. So, the last time the Yankees clinched a World Series berth was October 25th, 2009. Do you know why that day is important?
The 25th? No.
What'd you say?
No.
That was Juan Soto's 11th birthday.
That's insane.
Do you know what day that Game 1 of the World Series is on?
It's on October 25th. That's funny. That's too funny. Happy birthday, Juan.
That is just... That's wild when you think about it.
That's pretty funny.
That he sent them to the World Series, and the last time the Yankees clinched a World Series berth was on his 11th fucking birthday.
11th birthday. Crap.
That's crazy.
Insane. Absolutely insane.
And that even is wild to make me think that Juan Soto is only 4 years older than me. But...
yeah, what are you doing talking about him on this podcast?
I'm talking about... I still got 4 years! I still got 4 years to catch up to him. I got 4 years to make $700 million. Let's go, baby. No, but kind of going into other guys that series, Aaron Judge had a...
He had a weird series.
That's what I mean. Like, it was very up and down because he had 2 home runs and 6 RBIs. The 1 home run, I think it was a 4-2 game, and he made it a 6-2 game.
That sounds right.
Or something along those lines where he kind of just, patted the lead. So it wasn't a garbage home run. It was definitely like a medium leverage situation, I would say, especially because it was later in the game. But then you can't say enough about the Game 3 home run. The Game 3 home run. So he was pretty solid. You just still wanted more from him because he only had a 761 OPS.
Right.
So it's like a thing of like, it was definitely better. The contact, the at-bats, you kind of saw a lot more positive regression for Judge. So
definitely
good signs overall. But then Anthony Rizzo, I'm going to read word for word what I wrote. Needs to fix this shit defensively. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a thing of how he went from being a platinum glove defender to being a guy that is going to get replaced in this 8th inning defensively. Like, for Oswaldo Cabrera, who's never played the position like 3 times this season, like, that's just... I don't know, man. Like, but you have to leave his bat in the lineup. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You
absolutely.
He has been incredible. He's went 6 for 18, 2 walks, a double, 1,000 OPS. So it's a thing of fix your shit defensively because you're playing every game.
Yeah, I think it could also be a thing of just getting like back into it, kind of being able to read the ball off the bat better, and kind of like, you know what I mean, like, because what he missed
the double, the whatever you want to say. I think the lighter play was on him. I definitely played a lot more on him, and there was 1 or 2 other plays that were just like, what are we doing?
Yeah, which I could see the argument that it's just reading the ball better, which I think comes with just time and playing. So hopefully, come the World Series, he's on top of his shit, because you really no margin for error there.
I'm just worried it's long-lasting effects from the concussion.
Maybe, yeah.
Because he was not good this year, like, at all defensively. Like, when he was like,
he had 1 out above average.
What'd you say?
I said technically he had 1 out above average this year.
That doesn't seem right.
I lied. He has -2. What was I looking?
I
was looking at fielding run value. So all encompassing.
So he just wasn't. I'm worried a little bit about that because it can make sense, like reaction time, but he's also hit very. It's not like these are like, excuse me, like I think one of them was, but he's been roasting the ball. Yeah. So.
Pay it for you.
You just gotta fix this shit defensively. Like frankly,
no,
if he can be a league average first baseman, and then let me ask you this now: who should be the cleanup hitter? Because for me, I think it depends on who you play.
Yeah, that's fair.
Not even starting pitcher, or not even like starting pitcher. I think it's if you play the Mets, it's a different answer than if you play the Dodgers.
Yeah, the overall rosters are very different. I don't know. Honestly, I know you don't like it. I might just keep staying there. Just let him do his thing.
If they play the Dodgers, I agree with you. Because the Dodgers they have no righty starting or no lefty starting pitchers. They have 1 lefty in the bullpen, maybe 2, depending on if the other guy gets healthy. But for the Mets, you have 3 lefty starters. You guys have 2 lefties in the bullpen, correct?
If you want to count Peterson, yeah.
Oh, okay, so 1, because Peterson would be one of the starters.
Yeah. So
you got a lefty.
Danny Young, he's not pitching in high leverage, so.
Fair.
You don't really have a lefty.
But there would be a span of 5 out of 6 hitters being lefties in a row. If you have standing cleanup. That's the issue. So it's like...
That's fair. Yeah, if you're not going to see lefties, that's fair.
That's what I mean. Like, if there is a lefty on the mound, I'm still putting in Rizzo. I don't care. In his career, he has reverse splits where he's better against lefties. So I would put Rizzo cleanup if you're playing the Mets. But against the Dodgers, I don't care. Just because they don't have the lefties to counteract it. So I definitely put Sand cleanup against Dodgers, but... And
that's fair.
For content reasons, I want to play the Mets. But for the Yankees, I think they match up a lot better with the Dodgers. Just because the Yankees cannot hit lefty starters.
Right.
And the Dodgers don't really have a pitcher that scares me. Starter-wise.
Well, like, that's what I said. And here we are.
Yamamoto's kind of like...
When Yamamoto's on, he's excellent. But it's just a matter of what you're going to get.
Bueller, he was throwing 92. And I don't know how that's going to go.
He had his best stuff of the year pitching against the Mets on Wednesday. So, take that for what you will.
I think it's the wind, but
sure.
Whatever. But yeah, and I also think that the Mets made a big mistake not putting Peterson in the rotation earlier. Like, I think that, or maybe not in the rotation earlier, but I think he should have at least been, because he wasn't right after Senga, right? It was someone else in game 1?
No, he was.
Oh, he was?
Well, I think it was, I think Garrett pitched because he had to come in with guys on. So they let him get out of the inning and then pitch another inning. And then they put in Peterson.
Fair. Whatever. Not a Mets podcast. Well, not this episode.
At this point in time.
Not this episode, not a Mets podcast, but just going over a couple of guys that their postseason in general that I think are kind of getting overshadowed because of Soto and I almost said Judge, Soto and Stanton. Gleyber Torres, I told you this stat, and they have played 9 postseason games. Gleyber has led off in all of them. He has reached base safely as a leadoff hitter 8 times. He has a 400 on base percentage. He's hitting 297, 400 on base, 432 slugging for an 832 OPS with a home run, 2 doubles, and 5 RBIs. I'm saying RBIs, I don't care. I love Gleyber.
400 on base percentage for a leadoff hitter.
I love Gleyber.
Makes a grown man cry.
But just, he's been awesome.
He's been a rock.
Yeah, I want all the Gleyber Torres narratives to die in a fire. Because he's also been great defensively.
Mm-hmm.
So, did you see the thing with him and Stanton during this?
The baby? Yeah.
That's hysterical. That's hysterical.
I love that.
For those that don't know, Stanton was getting interviewed, and Gleyber's holding it was the ALCS MVP trophy, right?
I think that was the American League trophy.
Okay, so the pennant trophy.
Like the pennant trophy.
So it was the pennant trophy. Gleyber was just carrying it like, I don't even know what you would say he was carrying it like.
It's kind of just like
yeah.
Yeah.
But he was carrying
it.
Stan was getting interviewed, and he just goes, "Here, take the baby." So Stan takes the baby. He's like, "Oh, gotta rock the baby." Then starts rocking the baby.
The baby being the trophy.
Yeah, fuck you, Meatball. I hate Josh Naylor. I hate him so much, but
rolling.
No, you got to give him credit. But then you go to his double play partner, Anthony Volpe. He made one. I think there was only one time this entire postseason where I legitimately say Anthony Volpe either didn't come up clutch or just made a bad play. And that was in Game 2 against the Royals, where he kind of just threw away that double play ball. Yeah. Other than that, he has been nails this postseason. He got on base every single time, or every single game against Cleveland. He was on base 10 times in the series. He, overall, for the postseason, 310 batting average, 459 on base percentage, 345 slugging, which is not good, but 804 OPS. Do you know what his average exit velocity was in the playoffs so far?
No.
96 miles an hour.
Amazing.
That's what I mean, where it's just like, he's just getting on base. He is so much more patient. He does not look like Anthony Volpe, with just how patient he's been. But just, I can't say enough good things about him. He deserves his flowers. I think
Excellent.
he's perfect right now in the 7 spot. I think that's just a perfect spot for him. And yeah, I can't say enough
he's
about
been
him.
excellent. He's been great, especially at the bottom of the lineup, helping kind of turn the lineup over. That's all you need to do. That's all I want to see from Volpe. I don't need him hitting home runs. I don't need him slugging.
Just
Get on base.
Get on base.
Right. Run into a double. You hit a single. You can steal second. Like, that's all you need.
Yeah. And he's also been, like, chippy, too.
Yeah.
I love that.
A lot more like
a lot more emotion, but like
Yeah.
it's weird because like at the plate when he's hitting, no emotion.
yeah.
But when he's on the bases, he's like and like feeling he's getting like chippy, like arguing. But
got hot mic. I think that was that last night.
yeah, no, two nights ago.
Yeah, whichever.
What was it? He's clearly blocking the base, Blue.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are all the good guys I wanted to talk about. Now I'm gonna get into the Three Stooges. I thought of that on the fly, and I'm proud. I was gonna say the Three Shitters, and I'm like, wait, no, the Three Stooges. Alex Verdugo. He had an incredible Game 1 of the playoffs. Since then, in the playoffs, so including that game, he has a 544 OPS. Not good, John.
Is that good? The
Not
quote mark.
Good.
Is that good?
He has been solid defensively. I will give him that. But I don't... He started every game in left field. I don't get why. Like...
These rosters, man, for the playoffs are driving me insane.
Like, dude, like, if you're not going to play Dominguez, okay, I get it. Young kid, whatever, liability defensively. Why not Grisham? Why not see what you have with Grisham? Grisham's a better defender because he's one of the best defenders in baseball. I think Grisham gives you a little bit more upside than Verdugo, too. I think he has more pop in his bat.
Yeah.
So I just don't get it. Because my thing with Dominguez...
You have a 5-man bench.
With
Sorry,
Dominguez...
you have a 5-man bench.
I don't get why he's on this roster if he's not playing. Why, if he's a pinch runner, he should not be on this roster.
Yeah.
As much as I love Dominguez, as much as I want him to play, if he's a pinch runner, there's no reason that Duke Ellis is not on this roster over him.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense.
That's just... whatever.
5-man bench, and you can argue you're only using 2 guys, Birdie and Cabrera.
Yeah, I think Trevino played once.
Yeah,
I think Trevino
exactly.
got one start and then got put in like the 9th or 10th inning one game.
Right, so like, whatever.
Yeah. And even then, they're playing first base.
Right.
Birdie played second because of like when they pinch ran Glaber for him, but
Yeah.
just... I don't even know where to go with the next one.
Stupid.
What'd you say?
I just said stupid.
I don't even know where I want to go. I think I'll go Wells because I'm a little bit less mad at him, except for last night. Last night is...
Yeah, you were seething.
But he's been incredible defensively. He's been great for the pitching staff. So I will always... I don't care if you're not hitting as a catcher, if you are incredible behind the plate, if you're framing, if the pitcher's all saying how much they love you. Like, I'm fine with that. But he has hit into 4 double plays this postseason. That's where the issue is. He has 15 strikeouts and 33 plate appearances.
Mm.
The strikeouts are one thing. But when you are actively getting guys out on the bases in front of you, especially when I believe it was... I know at least 2 of the times. One was Jazz, one was Volpe. 2 guys that are fast as hell, and you're getting them off the base paths, that's where I have the issue with. Just because it's just... And it's an annoying thing because he's chasing the high fastball, and you're seeing him get mad at himself saying, like, no, don't do that again. But he does it the very next pitch! Like, what are we doing?
He's just like me, for real. In MLB The Show.
Seriously, but we won the series 4-1. He was incredible behind the plate. So, that was bad, but I'm not going to harp on him too much. This next guy, though. Oh. Jazz, what the fuck are we doing? You've talked shit after every game. You've talked so much smack. The whole thing about you was that you're a riser in the big goddamn moments. You have 11 strikeouts and 34 at-bats, and that's not even doing it justice. I feel like so many times when you're swinging the bat, it just looks like the scene from Benchwarmers where it's not a sword, don't hack at it. It's a goddamn baseball bat.
Yeah.
Just horrible. He's just been horrible. Really there have been a couple of times in the field too where he just went for a ball that just was not his ball, and that ended up making it so they didn't make the play. Like, you have Anthony Volpe, who is probably top 3 candidate for a Platinum Glove in the American League, and you're just not letting him make a play? Like, what are we doing? Like, that just so much about him has pissed me off that I'm almost at the point where I would kind of be happy if they gave Oswaldo Cabrera a starter 2 at third base.
Yeah.
Just because Oswaldo, in the very, very limited playing time, looks solid.
Yeah.
And just...
he plays to his role. He's good in the role he's in.
And he doesn't make dumbass plays in the field. That's the thing, too. Like, he kind of knows his lane in the field.
Yeah. Yeah. Jazz has been very frustrating to watch.
And why are we batting him cleanup? That's another thing, too. He has been god-awful, so we're batting him cleanup? Like, I completely get it. Move Wells down. That's what should have happened. Definitely agree with that. But why on God's green earth is Anthony Rizzo not cleanup if you want to have a lefty in cleanup? Why is Anthony Rizzo batting 7th when he was your third best hitter in the ALCS?
Yeah. I think come the first lineup for the World Series, singing a different tune, hopefully. But yeah, that didn't make sense from the start.
Did you see Boone's reasoning?
No.
Boone's reasoning was with Anthony Rizzo's hand. You never know when it would act up again, so he didn't want to pinch hit for his cleanup hitter.
Yes.
I would much rather 3 at-bats in the 4 hole and then call it Oswaldo Cabrera get another at-bat or 2 than have Jazz in the 4 hole.
Right.
Like that, I think that's just... because it's also a thing of it's not like if you pinch hit for him in the 6th inning, or whatever, in the 6th spot, you're still getting Anthony Rizzo. No, Oswaldo Cabrera is going to hit anyways. He's going to be 2 batters later. So realistically, what is the difference if you're still getting 3 or 4 at-bats from Anthony Rizzo?
Yeah. Like, I understand the reasoning. I don't think it's good, but I understand it.
I get where you're coming from, but it's pretty weak. It's pretty weak reasoning. But just... that's all I have on the hitters. Unless you had anything else you wanted to say.
Not really. I think Trevino probably has not even deserve to start, because I think it says more on Wells than him. But in the one game Trevino started, he was productive.
He did make a really bad out on the bases, though.
So does the whole team. So he checks out.
And I'm just saying, the only game that Trevino started this postseason they lost
is the one they lost. Sorry.
Don't shoot the messenger.
Right. How can I argue with those numbers?
How dared Jose Trevino not frame that pitch that Jowenski Noel hit into the sands? How dare he not frame that David Fry pitch too? Yeah,
exactly.
But
supposed to reach forward and grab the ball.
Exactly. Just get a minor catcher's interference.
It's fine.
But
they'll challenge it.
Getting into the bullpen overall, I would give Boone a B+. The way he manages bullpen. There were a couple of wonky moves, like leaving Jay Cousins in Game 3 for a second inning. I didn't agree with that. There were a couple other things that minor things that I didn't really like. But, like, I would have given Heel the 5th that one game, but, like, I completely get why he didn't. It ended up working out, so whatever. But overall, I think he did a lot better than people are giving him credit for. And this is coming from a guy that shits on Boone a lot.
Consistently.
So I'd give him like a B. There needs to be a grade in between a B plus and an A minus. B plus plus?
B plus minus?
No, B plus plus. Because the plus minus would be getting rid of the plus.
Yeah, it would be B. Or is it a B plus
minus?
Or A minus minus?
Yeah.
For narrative reasons.
A
What's
minus
your answer?
minus. But
okay. Regardless.
I think a big issue this postseason, you've seen it a lot, which not just with the Yankees, but the trend of relievers numbers going down the longer into series, because they're being used every single game.
Yeah.
I think Clay Holmes and Luke Weaver didn't pitch in one game this postseason, or for the ALCS, and even then, Luke Weaver was warming up in Game 4. So,
yeah, it's a trend around baseball, so it's kind of hard to pinpoint it when you're talking like about one team. But when you think about it, the more you use a singular reliever in the series, it's the same thing as a starter going third time through the order.
Yeah.
Because the guys have seen them already, they know what to look for, they know their release points, their pitches, all that stuff. Because it's one thing to look at, at the iPad and look at their stuff and all that, but it's another to see it in game, see how it's coming out of the hand and all that. So it's the same effect as a starter third time through the order as a reliever appearing for the third time in a series.
You cut out. What was that?
I was saying it's the same effect as a starter going 3 times through the order as a reliever appearing for the third time in a series.
And it's also a thing of, we mentioned earlier, the tragic pitching machine too. So realistically, they've probably seen him like 6 or 7 times.
Right.
So it's a lot more than just 3 times. And the thing with relievers is the reason they aren't starters is because they're specialized. They have like 2 pitches. Some only have 1 pitch. And when you only see 1 or 2 pitches and you're facing them for a 4th time, call it, no shit, you're going to hit them. Like that just makes sense. So
they're major league hitters. They adjust.
Yeah, so
they should.
I don't know if it's a thing of that. It definitely is a thing of that, but I also think it's a little bit to do with fatigue, where these guys are just not used to throwing this much. So yeah, and there was a weird trend where guys just only threw 1 pitch for the Yankees, because you mentioned Tommy Kahnle throwing 16 straight changeups.
Right.
In the 2 appearances between games 4 and 5, he threw 45 pitches. He threw 45 changeups.
Insane. And he was really good.
Yeah.
That's the best thing.
The changeup was crisp. And it's just, I don't know what to say about it, because you can't complain because it worked.
Good.
I'm only worried about, like, people just using the pitching machine, and they know, I only have to practice against the changeup. I don't have to practice against anything else.
Yeah.
So, Luke Weaver, I forget what game it was, but he threw 18 pitches and he threw 18 fastballs. And then, Cousins, this appearance, he threw 75% slider. Tim Hill, 75% sinker. So, do you like that trend? I'm curious.
For a reliever, yeah, or like at least I don't mind it, because when you think about it, a reliever you said it yourself. They usually have a pitch, 2 pitches, maybe 3 at the absolute max, except for some outliers. But use your best pitch. You're only there for, call it 3, maybe 6 outs if you're one of those guys, but use your best pitch. If your best pitch is the changeup, use it. If it's a slider, use it. If it's a fastball, use it. You want to be using your best pitch majority of the time. And then you work in the secondaries because you need to change eye levels or just different spin, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I think that's kind of how it's been, but now it's just kind of taking another step.
Yeah. I also think that a team like the Yankees, where a lot of the time they'll sign guys because of one pitch. Like,
Absolutely, yeah.
that's part of the reason they signed Clay Holmes, just because of his sinker. They saw a lot that could happen with a sinker. That's part of the reason why they signed Jay Cousins, because they knew how disgusting his slider was. That's why they signed Tim Hill, because they knew how disgusting his sinker was. So, I don't hate it. I'm just worried that, like, say that this went 7 games, how effective that still would be.
Yeah.
But then again, as you mentioned, for Class A, the Yankees are going to be playing an NL opponent. So they're not going to have as much experience when a team like Cleveland, I'm pretty sure Jake Cousins was on the White Sox. I know Tim Hill was, but you have guys that were in their division, so they've seen them a good amount. You had Tommy Kahnle, who, it's been a while, but he was also on the White Sox, but I don't really think that matters because that was like 2017. So
He
you
was
had
in
guys.
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee?
Jay Cousins was in Milwaukee last year, yeah.
Okay. But I don't.
Still.
Yeah, it was still impressive to me. Overall,
Absolutely.
that just, especially for Tim Hill, who doesn't have disgusting stuff, he just has very good stuff. And
A wonky pitcher.
yeah, and
Throwing
even there was
from the
one
dirt.
at bat where he threw like he got hosed on a call on 2 calls twice.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I just really like that I was on the Tim Hill train before anyone, and he's been just awesome this postseason for us.
I liked Tim Hill before. It's cool.
Shut up. He's him till he fucking dies. But then, kind of the last note I had was, I don't understand why Marcus Stroman wasn't used in games 3 through 5. Because I did some math. Okay. Game 3. If you include, so let's just say for argument's sake, when you're in a tied game, what is your goal as a reliever?
To keep it tied.
Okay. So you're asking your bullpen to, you would assume you're asking your bullpen to get an additional 3 outs in the 11th inning, correct?
Of course.
Okay. So if you use that line of reasoning, they expected the bullpen to get 19 outs in game 3 at a minimum. In game 4, you expected them to get 15 outs. Game 5, you expected them to get 16 outs. Why wasn't Marcus Stroman used?
Yeah.
That is, if you do the math, that is 6 1/3 innings you expected in game 3. That is 5 innings you expected in game 4, and 5 1/3 that you expected in game 5. So I just don't get why. Game 3 is the bigger one, I think, than anything else. Game 3, just why he wasn't pitching in that game.
Yeah. Yeah, I have the same issue with some of the Mets pitchers and the roster construction, because it's one of those things where I understand you need pitchers. Excuse me. If things get out of hand and you just need innings.
Yeah, the mop-up guy.
You've seen that a couple times with the Mets, with Tyler McGill. He just completely wore it. I believe that was game 3. But regardless, I understand there's a need for those guys sometimes, but if you're not expecting them to pitch high leverage innings, even medium leverage innings, why are they on this roster?
It's almost the issue that I had with Luis Hill, where how are you going to expect a guy to pitch well in an appearance if you're not giving him appearances so that he can get into a rhythm?
Right.
That didn't sit right with me, how there were 3 games that he realistically should have pitched in. Even if it was only like 2-3 innings, especially game 4 and 5 when your bullpen is just shot. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Super frustrating.
that's really all I had. Not much I could really say about the matchup preview. Really, all that I could say is I think the Dodgers are a better matchup because of starting pitchers. But I'm sure I'm not sure, but if we do have a Queens episode that's a positive one because the Mets are moving on, you'll see a matchup preview there. It'll obviously be more. What'd you say?
I said absolutely.
Obviously, it'll be a little bit more Mets, but I'll still sprinkle some Yankees in there. But Yeah, I just wanted to also mention that winning 2 out of 3 games in Cleveland should get a lot more credit than they're getting for doing that. Cleveland had the best home record in the American League. You could say division, you could say this, you could say that, whatever. They had the best home record in the American League. The Yankees, granted, best road record in baseball. But that was not nothing. Cleveland always plays you close in these type of series. You go back to 2017, it was a 5-game series in the ALCS or ALDS. You go back to 2022, 5-game series ALDS. Every time they play Cleveland, it's close, it's nitty, it's gritty. You have to win these type of games in the postseason, and that was the issue with this Yankees team. They could not win those games. They could not get those clutch hits. You have so many guys that are producing now. You have 6 guys in this offense that I am very confident in when they come up to the plate. And then you have 3 guys that can go fuck themselves. But I'm a lot more confident in this team than I have in years past just because of playoff stand is God. You have Juan Soto, who is Jesus, I guess you could say, the son of God.
That make Judge the Holy Spirit?
Yeah, the Holy Trinity. Now I want them back to back to back. Wait, but it'd be so out of order. Because it'd be the Son, Holy Spirit, the Father. Not the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. So it'd be like... it'd be way too weird. That's out of order. But they should be, yes. Okay. I don't even know where...
Yeah.
That's all I had. We'll know in a day or 2, depending on what happens. I'm very...
2 days.
Do you want me to... Can I say something?
Nope. Keep it to yourself.
Cover your ears.
Yeah, that's fine. Say it to the audience. I'm not listening.
I am confident in the Mets today because the Dodgers have a bullpen day. The Mets have Sean Manaea, so I really think this game goes 7 games. You're good now. You're good.
Okay.
I sent you a thumbs up just for him to see.
Yes.
No, but I think that's best case scenario for the Yankees if that were to happen.
Yeah, for sure, 100%.
You could assume what I mean by best case scenario for the Yankees.
Yes. But I can safely assume.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's all I have unless you had any finishing touches.
No. Obviously, congratulations to the Yankees and the organization. I mean, obviously, it's a huge, what's the word? Accomplishment. That's the one. Congrats to you, Justin.
Thank you. It doesn't seem real.
Congrats to content. But we will be previewing at least one team in the World Series.
World Series content.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy. But I hope we'll be previewing 2. Until then, I will be shitting my pants at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But, Justin, if that's all you got.
That's all I got.
All right, that's all I got. That's all he got. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. As always, remember to follow us on all of our social media accounts at Triboro Podcast on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Spotify so you never miss an episode. Your New York Yankees are going to the World Series. And your New York Mets are fighting for their goddamn lives once again. Thank you guys for listening. We'll see you in the next one.